Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kalina Yankova, a violinist, educator and entrepreneur. This is my educational platform where I share insights, techniques and the subtle nuances of violin playing. In today's video, we are going to dive into a fundamental aspect of violin playing, and that is your left hand setup. A comfortable and efficient left hand is crucial for good intonation, smooth playing, and prevention of injuries. I'll break down our key principles and give you practical tips to find what works best for you. Over the next 15 minutes or so, we will cover the core ideas of comfort and reach the balance between finger freedom and hand structure. We're going to find the right finger angle and some common troubleshooting steps. The absolute foundation of your left hand setup is comfort. If anything feels strained, tense, or painful, it's a sign of something that needs to be adjusted. Never force a position. Alongside comfort is the ability for your fingers to easily and accurately reach all of your strings. So let me demonstrate what I mean. If your hand is in the right position, you'll be able to have almost the same position when you go over your strings, when you want to reach for something higher. It's absolutely not comfort to go and change your position for every finger. And if you have to do that, that will take a lot of energy and time from your playing. You should not feel that you have to change the position of your hand just to reach the fourth finger, or take out your arm every time you have to go to the G string, or do another uncomfortable movement just so your first finger can go back. Think about whether your hand position allows each finger to access its intended string without excessive stretching or contortion. Now let's talk about the interplay between freedom and structure. Ideally, each of your fingers should have the freedom to move independently. So we have three movements. One is the lifting. That's when you lift your fingers on the string and off the string. Another one is moving across the strings, the four strings. And the third one is sliding, when you want to reach, play with the same finger, or just slide the finger up or down. One crucial aspect of structure is your finger angle on the strings. You want to aim for a moderate angle, not too steep, so that your fingertips are almost vertical and not too flat, where the pads on the fingers are lying across the strings. So for me, I have quite short fingers, and to achieve this angle on my fingers, I have to slightly move up with my hand and come a little bit closer to the fingerboard so that I can maintain the same angle on all of my fingers, especially the fourth one, in which I'm still working. So for me, that position will be good. If you have longer fingers, maybe I'll show you from that side, maybe you need to be a little bit lower. My position was almost here, so I am putting the violin on the first joint here. The potential drawback of each tension with steep fingers or too flat fingers is that you would have a bad intonation, you may have difficulty to play vibrato, and also the sound will be very unclear because you are putting the fingers maybe on the way that you are touching another string. That may also create tension if you have a too steep or too flat. Try to maintain a relatively consistent angle across all four fingers, and that helps with evenness of the tone and intonation and vibrato. It is rare for every finger to feel perfectly natural right away. often you need to make a slight compromises, especially when it comes to the reach of your first and the fourth fingers. So in many cases, I may allow my first finger to reach back slightly to avoid overstretching the fourth finger upwards. And I think that's more comfortable and more sustainable instead of doing the opposite. And for me, that works because I have not that long fingers and not that big hand. So I prefer to have my hand in a position where I am a slightly more, I wouldn't say 1.5 position up, but slightly higher than a normal when I have to reach with the fourth finger a lot and to stretch in, for example, for the F sharp when I play on A string, instead of having it down and reaching for the finger up with the fourth finger up, because that's most likely to make my hand very, very tired. For me, it works to slightly go back with my first finger when I need, instead of reaching up all the time. Yeah, I immediately feel this tension in the muscle here as I try to reach with the fourth finger a lot. And that is creating tension in your whole hand, so we really want to avoid that. If you're experiencing discomfort or difficulty, let's look at some common troubleshooting points. The first one is to ensure that you have enough space between your bass knuckles. They should not feel compressed, and you should feel that we have some space between all of them. So this is how it looks like when I have space, and this is when I don't have space. It can happen with students, for example, that they are squishing the first and second finger like this, but then they have space here or the opposite, depending on what they're playing. So if you're a teacher, just be mindful of that and make them have space between all of their bass knuckles. Another important aspect is your left elbow position. Your elbow plays a big role in your finger angle, so experiment with bringing it slightly forward or backwards, and that will change the finger angle. So if you want to play on the G string, you want to take out your arm so that you reach the fourth finger on the G string. And if you're playing on the E string, you may not need to take out your elbow too much. And of course, when you move your elbow inwards or backwards, that will also affect the angle of your fingers. So if you look closely to my fingers, when I'm slightly backwards, my fingers are becoming more flat. And when I move it forward, my fingers are more steep. Another thing to look at is the distance from the hand to the neck. Make sure that your hand is not too close and not too far from the neck. Find a neutral position that allows easy finger movement. What I mean is this distance. So the way you move your thumb is actually going to make your hand coming out, slightly out from the neck, big distance from the neck, or closer to the neck. And as usual, we are going to talk about the two extremes. So that's the first and the fourth finger. We want to be able to play and be free with both fingers. So if you're too close to the fingerboard, to the neck, then your first finger is probably going to be jammed like this, which is creating tension in your hand, and it's really not good for your first finger, because you're not going to be able to move it freely. But if you take out your thumb a little bit and you pronate your hand, you will reach your fourth finger a little bit easier, and at the same time your first finger is going to be freer to play, slide back, or just have the distance, as we talked before, between your base knuckles here. So that can be a good position for you to discover what is best for your hand, according to your first and fourth finger. Another aspect is the violin position. The way you hold your violin can also impact your left hand. If you have a longer or shorter arms, you may need to adjust the violin to a specific position. If, for example, you have long arms, you may want the violin more to the left so that your arm reach and you can play a parallel to the bridge. But if you have a shorter arms, maybe you want to position your violin more to the right. So be aware of that. How is your body and how it works together with your hand, because if you come too close, you don't want to have that position of your right arm. Another thing to talk about is the chin and the shoulder rest. We're not going into detail today, but what chin and shoulder rest setup can indirectly affect is your left hand comfort and the angle. So imagine that your chin rest is in the middle. You may want to hold your violin like this, so the violin is moving more that direction. And if you're more to the right, you may have the violin that direction. And of course, that's also influencing your left hand position. So the other thing was the chin rest. I am playing with this chin rest, and as I said, I'm not going to go to details about this, but with some chin rest, the violin can also look like this. And our optimal goal is to have the strings parallel to the floor, almost. Otherwise, you have difficult to reach the G string. For example, if the violin is too much like this, you have that angle to the G string, which is quite short. But if you are moving the violin more to that side because of your chin rest, then you will need to use more elbow to reach your G string, and that can be tiring as well. So, to summarize, finding your ideal left hand setup is about achieving a balance of freedom and structure while prioritizing of comfort. Remember to pay attention to finger movements that we talked about: horizontal, across the strings, sliding, consistent hand shape, a moderate and consistent finger angles. Make unnecessary compromises to reach between the first and the fourth finger. Troubleshooting your knuckle, base knuckle space, the elbow position, and the hand distance from the neck. Also, the chin rest and the shoulder rest. Experiment with these ideas and pay close attention to how your hand feels. Small adjustment can make big difference. Let me know in the comments below what challenge you faced with your left hand. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more violin tips and tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy practicing.